To anyone who's watching, do you like my headband? I had to tame my hair and it's working, kind of. But I just wanted to come on and do like a short intro. I'm about to put up a tutorial, and this is the intro for it. But I'm going to be doing how to make collage with magazine pages and ephemera, which is like, it could be considered like twine or um, like stickers and stuff like that. So I am going to be doing more videos in the future because I am going to have more time. I know that I've been like a ghost and I've been like doing a video and then I'll go away for like a few months. Um, but I am going to try to be more consistent because this is something that I really like doing. And I love YouTube myself. And so I know what it's like to enjoy seeing other people's process, their creative process. So, and I do like the process of editing videos too. I'm not like that good at it, but I still like doing it. So anyways, so in this video, or for this video, this tutorial, you're gonna need mixed media paper or watercolor paper, just one like large piece to do the collage on. You just want something with texture. And then magazines, a glue stick, and then also if you have like tacky glue or even like Elmer's school glue, you want both kinds of glue. The glue stick is good for like thinner paper, and then the liquid glue would be good for like anything thick. Um, and then you'll need scissors, of course, and I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So I am excited to show you my process of this collage piece, and I hope that you look out for more videos because I am going to try to put them up at least every other week. I'm going to try for one a week because I have a lot of ideas, but I just haven't had the time. My schedule is just really crazy. I do a lot of like art stuff, art projects, and exhibits and stuff, so I'm all over the place. But I will have more time coming in the future to do more videos more consistently. So I hope you have fun. So I've got my supplies here. I've got tacky glue, a glue stick, scissors, and National Geographic magazines, which are my favorites because they have the best images as far as like faces and then landscapes. And then to my left, I've got all these little pieces of ephemera. And I've already cut out some things on the left side, and then I tore out a lot of these pages. And I'm doing it on regular mixed media paper. So although I have a lot of the images already torn out, I am going to go through and cut them down. I'm pretty much just cutting off the parts that I know I'm not going to use and cleaning them up a little bit. And some of these images I actually will not even end up using in the piece, but it's always good to at least have several to choose from. And then also, I like using words in my collage pieces, so I'm cutting these out as well. It could be one word, or it could be like a whole little passage. Some of these images are pretty interesting, like this one. The guy with this weird hat. And then so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start grabbing things so that I can start my background. And I already kind of knew that I wanted to use the landscape photographs as backgrounds, like the main backgrounds, when I looked at them, when I was tearing them out. And I also like to do a lot of layering and overlapping, so that's what I'm doing here. Like you can see that the camels are upside down, but they're going to be covered. And I just want to use that mountainous part on there. So here I overlapped the pages off of the mixed media paper. And the reason I do that is because it's easy to turn it over and then just cut off the excess parts. And sometimes I will cut things out and fill them in to the collage, but when I'm doing like the edges, I love doing that. I just will overlap them, have them going outside of the mixed media paper, and then turn it over and cut it. So here I'm starting to just cut out different things and kind of have different colors going together. So this was a doorway. And then again, I'm just gonna turn it over and cut off that excess part. And doing collage to me is a very intuitive process. I usually don't know what I'm going to do before doing it. And I know that some people will layer things exactly how they want it before gluing it. But I usually find that I like to just lay things down and find my way to it, to whatever I'm doing, wherever I'm going. So I'm cutting this guy's body up, so it's just like a torso and part of his legs. And I like the way that that looks against the mountains with the snow. And then here I've got this guy's head, which is too big for this body. But I like the way that that looks. That's what I like about collage, is that you can have different features and body parts and overlap it on other ones. And it might look kind of funny, but also interesting, I think. So now I'm just putting some words against this doorway. And this spider looks really cool. It's not something I'd want to see in person, but I thought it would look really nice in this collage piece. And while cutting it out, I was thinking about where I would put it, and I thought that it would look kind of cool on top of the guy's body on the right. So kind of like as his head. So that's where I'm going to put it. So I'm just kind of filling it out and seeing how it looks. And then I kind of work like different sides, like back and forth. So I'll have one thing set up and then I'll move to another. But that open doorway that I left, I think it's going to look cool if I overlap it and put this other piece underneath with the guy sitting in the desert. So what I'm doing now is I'm just filling in the white space at the top. And you can already tell this is going to be a very blue piece. A lot of shades of blue. And so now as I start filling in this space, I'm going to just put glue on one side of this open doorway so that I can fit in the guy sitting in the desert underneath. And then I'm going to glue him down, him in his desert area down. And then after I get it underneath that kind of open doorway, I'm going to glue that part down over it. And here I'm using the lid to my glue stick to get out all those little bumps from the glue. And then, so even though I cut the guy's arms off, I actually am going to go back and make use of the arms. But what I thought would be cool is to have the arms near him, near his body, but not completely connected. And so I'm just cutting little by little to kind of have his arm at an angle and to look like it's going through this doorway. And I'm going to have him holding the word knowledge. And I'm going to crumble this up just to give it like a little bit of texture. And then now I'm gluing his body down. And again, I want him to look like the arm is his, but not be completely connected to it. I like that it looks like there's like a disconnection, but you can tell that it's all his body. And so I wanted to leave this part in the video when I was editing, because I wanted to mention that you can move things around when you're doing collage, but it's best to do it very quickly after the glue has been put on and the piece has been set down. If you try to do it when the glue is pretty much dried, it will tear the paper. But here I did it like pretty quickly. I decided that I wanted the body closer to the arm, and then I'm just adding more glue over it just to make sure it stays down. And so now I'm just gathering other things and cutting other things to add to the piece. And this isn't something I thought about beforehand, but it does look like it's becoming like a dominantly brown and blue colored piece, which I like. And so I'm just putting some words over his hat. And then now I'm grabbing other papers and just filling in again that white space. I'm gonna put some book pages around the piece because I love using book pages. And I realized that I didn't do this on purpose, but I did end up picking a lot of like browns and blues and some green, as you'll see as I get further into the image. But it wasn't done purposely, but I guess was drawn to the more earthy tones. And so on this part, I actually had to cut it to fit this little space. So you'll see like on the bottom left of this paper, I had to cut that little diagonal piece so it fit well with the piece to the left of it. And then now I'm gluing things down, and then what I'll do is I'll fold things where it needs to be cut, and then I'll cut it off, the little extra parts. And I like using different textures of paper because it also makes the piece look really interesting as opposed to it being completely like flat. That's also why I like layering and overlapping, which is what I'm gonna do with this piece of paper. It's a really thin piece of paper. I'm just gonna put it over that really thick piece. Here I've got an image that's very, very colorful. It is very blue, so it fits in with the theme, but it has other colors as well. So I'm gonna put it in the middle of the piece. And you'll see here I grabbed this piece of parchment paper, which I should have done in the beginning unless you've got like a tablecloth. So now I'm cutting down this flower, and this is very tedious because I have to get in between each petal, which is very difficult. But this flower also fits in with the theme. It's very blue. So what I'm gonna do with this one is I'm going to put it on the left side where there's mostly brown, just to start balancing out the colors. So what I'm going to try to do at this point is try to incorporate more blues on the left side and more browns on the right side. But with his other arm, I am going to put it by his body again, his other side of the body. And again, I really like the disconnection look, but still, like, you know, it's his body. And I didn't glue his hand all the way down because I'm actually going to put a little book page under his hand to make it look like he's holding it. And this goes with me trying to balance out the colors. So this is like, it's kind of an off-white, but it almost has a brown tone. And I don't want it to be as long or as big as it was, so I'm pulling some of it up, and then I'm going to cut it so it's more narrow, the little book page piece. And again, that's something you'd have to do when the glue is still wet. And then now I'm just filling in that white space even more. Like, this part gets a little more difficult. So I glued down some blue piece of magazine, and then now I'm folding it over so some of the wording on the other side shows through. And now I've got these mushrooms, and they've got different brown tones. So I'm going to glue that on the right side where there's more blue, again, to start balancing out the colors. And it doesn't have to be exactly even, you know, an exact amount of brown and blue on each side, but just enough so that it doesn't look like one color is like dominating or totally overwhelming the image, the final piece. And then here I'm adding a little bit of green. I'm making the trees into the bottom half of his legs, or the bottom part. And then I'm going to add a little bit more green by adding this little tree, and then I'm going to put some leaves sticking out of it. And I like this because it gives a little bit of a different color. So on the flower on the left bottom part, there's a little bit of green, and then the little set of flowers next to that, there's a little bit of green. So I do want to stick with the theme of the earth kind of colors, especially because of the background, like the desert and the mountains with snow. And what this is starting to look like to me is, I guess, like the right side kind of makes me think of like the Ice Age, or it just makes me think of like the past, and then it's almost like he's passing on knowledge to the future. That's kind of what it's looking like. And then also the fact that there's book pages makes it about knowledge as well, and perhaps like learning. So again, now I'm just filling in that white space. And And what I just did there was I used my fingernail to push through the paper where I would need to cut some of it off. And you'll see me do that in a few more places in this piece. Instead of folding it, I'll literally just use my nail to like make a crease. But here I'm gonna fold it. And sometimes I'll cut the fold or I'll just keep the fold and glue it down. So here I'm gonna keep it and glue it down. So I've glued that, put some glue over it, and then fold it down. And then here I'm gonna fold it, but I am gonna cut on the fold. It's like a diagonal piece. And then right here, I'm grabbing another small piece. It's a sticker. It's like a compass. And I actually accidentally hit the tripod thing that my camera is on. So you could kind of see my head before, but now you can really see my big head and my big hair. So there, I folded it, and then I'm cutting on the fold, gluing it down. So this is probably the more like tedious part as well, is where it's like the image is almost done. I've got like the bigger pieces down and the main image is down, and it's just a matter of filling in a lot of the smaller parts of white space that are still showing. And then here I've got a hot air balloon sticker, which I've been like dying to use. I thought it was so cool when I got it. It has brown and like metallic tones. So here I'm using my nail to make a mark where it needs to be cut. And that's kind of easier than folding it too. And it makes it exact, so I'm doing it again here. It's like an exact mark of where it needs to fit in, and so I like doing it that way too, especially with smaller pieces of paper, and especially when there's something like a curve that you're putting the paper against, which is what's happening with that doorway. So now I'm just going to use different brown tones to overlap and cover the small white spaces right in here. I've got this tiny piece of paper I'm going to put in right there. And then at last I get to use this beautiful blue flower that I cut out earlier. And I'm going to put it on the left side, even though there is blue, and I'm going to put it where there's more blue on the left side, but I like that dark blue against the light blue behind it. And then now I'm trying to figure out where to put the dragonfly, which will add some green. And then I've got another mushroom, a small mushroom, that I'm going to put down by the other one to add a little more brown again. And then I'm going to do the dragonfly above the spider guy's head. And that green really balances it out because there was more green on the bottom, like left side. And then it's a lighter hue than the tree and his legs. So this is the final piece. I had a lot of fun making it. Thumbs up. And I really hope that you enjoyed following along, and I hope that you will try it out. Just grab some magazines and paper and glue and scissors and have fun.